Here we have the current stock market analysis for SoFi Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker SOFI. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the 45-minute price chart, and I think that what has resulted here is quite interesting. I think that it was somewhat deceptive in some ways, but it really does show the strength of these price patterns and the fact that chart analysis does have a tremendous amount of utility in terms of its ability to predict future stock price movements. In prior videos, I have seen comments suggesting, saying things like, this guy thinks he can just draw lines on a chart, and this means that he thinks that he can predict the future. But as we can see in this price chart, there is nothing further from the truth, and all that we're really doing here is siding on the side of probability rather than the side of guesswork, which is typically what goes on in this platform. So as we can see here, share prices in SoFi are clearly falling from elevated levels. If we zoom in on the price chart a bit here, we can see that there has been a major movement lower, and it should be understood at this point that I did not change any of the lines on this chart. I did not change any of the trend lines, any of the chart markings here. Even this arrow here was in the prior videos, several prior videos. What I was expecting to unfold here is a bit unconventional because what we're dealing with at the moment here is a harmonic price pattern. This is an advanced price pattern. This is not, this is not beginner type of chart analysis here. Price pattern is based on a series of Fibonacci retracement zones that often result in high levels of accuracy in terms of predictive ability. And when I say high levels of accuracy, I'm talking about backtesting data that goes back hundreds of years. Backtesting data that pre-exists the U.S. stock market itself. The rates of success for the predictive outcome for these types of price structures is above 85% in most cases, roughly 85 to 88%. Price patterns are incredibly accurate here, and they should not be ignored. Obviously, we also shouldn't be listening to quote-unquote financial YouTubers that have really nothing to say about these markets. As we can see here, the share price itself has failed after posting near-term highs just above the $8.50 level. This is significant because what actually occurred here was a share price breakout to the top side. The prior resistance zone, which we have been watching now for quite a while at this point, came in at $8.30. In addition to that, you had a long series of YouTubers, quote unquote financial YouTubers on this platform, giving you random numbers, saying things like SoFi is going to $10 and it's going to be 2 days, $10 to $15. Do these not sound like random numbers? What is the difference between $10 and $11? What's the difference between $15 and $16? I'll give you the answer. There is no difference. These are completely random numbers. Completely random guesses is really what they are. And I think that a lot of people have probably lost money in these current positions because you're seeing people buy into these upper levels, buy into the hype, and get into a stock at elevated price zones. This made no sense at all for two different reasons: one technical and one fundamental. As I've said, there is a harmonic price pattern here that is starting to develop. I even had this arrow in place already for this eventual outcome and price failure. And then in addition to that, you had a fundamental event, which was the Federal Reserve interest rate cut. The Fed actually gave the market a fairly large interest rate cut, which is 50 basis points. That's larger than normal. Anybody that has followed these markets for any real period of time would know that the typical price cut, interest rate cut, would be 25 basis points. There was a little bit of speculation that we could be seeing 75 basis points in the rate cut. But for the most part, the Fed did fall in line with market expectations. And, there's a common saying in the market: buy the rumor, sell the news. If everybody's waiting for a certain event to occur, and it might even be bullish for the stock, but if everybody's waiting for a certain event to occur and then it does occur, you can't really expect to see further upside price movement in the asset, because everybody was already waiting for this information. There really is no new information here because prior expectations were simply being met. We're not being given new information here, and that means that there's no more fuel for this fire. There's nothing else to generate upside momentum for this stock. So the suggestion that everybody would be waiting for a 50 basis point rate cut, and then somehow the stock is going to move into $10 or $15 in the next 2 days, just a completely ridiculous assertion. Made absolutely no sense at all. So we had a buy the rumor, sell the news event, obviously, and we had a harmonic price pattern that was starting to develop. Obviously. The only thing that I've changed about this chart here is to add the word false breakout here because this is what has occurred. This doesn't even go alongside the conventional wisdom. We saw a breakout above the $8.30 resistance zone. Share prices moved 20 cents higher and then reverse lower. This is exactly how a harmonic pattern is designed to play out. This area up here would be called the potential reversal zone, the PRZ. And as we can see here, I drew this price line here before the event itself, before this breakout had actually occurred. I said that what was starting to unfold here. You can go back to the prior videos. You don't need to take my word for it. This trend line here that I drew on the price chart. Everybody's criticizing. Prior SoFi videos. I've seen people write in the comments. This guy just thinks you can write some lines on a chart, draw some lines on a chart. I did this in advance. Look at how the price action here is behaving. Am I a fortune teller? How would I know something like this in advance? The answer is I don't know any of this in advance. What I'm doing is erring on the side of probability. I'm erring on the side of 80 to 85% back testing accuracy rather than making random number assumptions that are unlikely to play out because the market is already expecting these events to occur. The interest rate cut was no surprise to anybody. Was anybody surprised by the interest rate cut? Nobody was surprised by the interest rate cut. Near term, I think what we're looking at here is a lot of short term positioning that really has executed trades at elevated levels. So, overall, this does place the risk on continued downside for this share price action near term. What we can see here is share price support zones that have started to develop right around the $8 mark. If we're drilling down to the 15-minute price chart, we can see that the bottom of the exponential moving average cluster currently comes in right around $7.90. If we were to break below there, I would expect even further downside momentum to start to accelerate. However, the daily close for this week is going to be important because today is Friday, and this means that the daily close is also the weekly price close. Longer term, I still believe that there is still upside potential in this stock, but I think that these recent events can act as a very good lesson for anybody that did perhaps buy into these stock prices at elevated levels. It does not make sense to listen to random number price projections. They mean absolutely nothing. This is really nothing more than guesswork. And I think that the combination of fundamental and technical events that was shown in this specific example should serve as a lesson for anybody that plans on trading this stock going forward. So here's the current stock market update for SoFi Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker SOFI. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.